Good afternoon. This is the official start of our 7 Steps to Eliminating Bullying in Schools, an Inside-Out Approach presentation. First of all, I know a lot of people have been subscribers and supporters of the Social Smarts program for quite some time, so you already may know who I am. But for those of you who don't, I'm Corrine Gregory. I'm the president and founder of the Social Smarts organization. Among other things that I do, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm an award-winning educator. But one of the things I can really relate to with a lot of people, not just because I'm an educator, but I'm also the mother of 3 school-aged children. And so it's always been a very high passion for me to be able to do things about the epidemic of bullying. And it's very unfortunate because the things that I see going on in schools all across the country and quite frankly internationally are the same types of things that I worry that my own children are going to be subjected to. Specifically, through Social Smarts, the way this came about was that we did a survey in 2009 and asked parents what some of their concerns were about what's going on in their children's school. And this pie chart pretty much illustrates, I think, very well and very accurately what some of the concerns were. But really, if you take a look at it, regardless of what happens and how it happens, you can define bullying as anything that someone does to somebody else that's intentionally mean, cruel, disrespectful, and particularly if the victim has asked the bully to stop. So let's quickly go into some of the different types of bullying because there are differences and it's important to understand the varying types of bullying and what their characteristics are. I'm going to talk about verbal bullying first. Now let's talk about social bullying, and it's interesting because verbal bullying and social bullying can overlap in some places. But basically the concept behind social bullying is that the bully is attempting to completely alienate or embarrass the victim of the bullying, and it can be one or more people. Now cyberbullying, boy, is that not in the media a lot these days. The reality is cyberbullying, while it is being treated as something different, now, as I said earlier, it's not really a different type of bullying. The only thing it is, it's a different vehicle by which this type of cruel behavior occurs. And for those people who look at it in terms of how do we solve the technology part of it, they're missing the whole underlying cause. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. You know, as I said earlier, if we took a look at the types of bullying, really what used to come out is that boys were most likely to be the ones to bully physically, and that the girls were the ones who were most likely to bully socially. But it's not necessarily true anymore, and even though these are still somewhat general trends, you cannot make those assumptions. It's not necessarily always true. Let's look at some common characteristics of bullies. Now, they frequently can be charismatic, which is interesting. If you look a little bit farther down, bullies very often can be part of the popular crowd. So let's talk about our role in bullying. Really, we think about bullies are, the situation with bullying is between a bully and a victim. But in reality, there is a very, very multifaceted relationship between bullies, bullied, and bystanders. So we really have to think about what are some of the trends that may influence whether you are a bully, whether you become a victim, or whether you just end up being a bystander whatsoever. Now behavioral, again, anything that really changes, but some of the naturals that we see are changes in eating or sleeping patterns. As far as what's going on in school is concerned, well, okay, there aren't too many kids who are really excited about going to school. And I'm not talking about the, Mom, I've got a tummy ache today, I don't want to go to school. I'm talking about an overall trend of suddenly not wanting to attend school or wanting to go a different way to school. Suddenly a child who's used to being on the bus doesn't want to be on the bus anymore, wants mom and dad to take them. So one of the reasons I talk about that there isn't a silver bullet is because, quite frankly, there isn't one single cause or source. You know, of a particular class or of a particular culture are going to be bullied more often than others. I mean, it's just oversimplification. And if you try to look at it that way, you are really minimizing the impact of bullying on everyone else. Now, here's a really tough one. What if it's your child that's doing the bullying? You know, we as parents are so invested in the appropriate conduct of our kids, and we really want to believe that our kids are being the best people they can be, that if somebody accuses our child of bullying, our first natural response is going to be to be defensive. But you have to take it seriously. Bullying is a serious thing. And at least give credit to the report. So I promised you 7 steps, and this is the first time of a couple of times that we're going to see this, and I think we're clicking along pretty well here on our time. In some cases, they'll say, for example, that there is a policy in the violations, policy for bullying, cyberbullying in every single school, but the actual consequences for that will be dictated by the school. So it's almost like they defined it as a crime, but then really made it be the part of the school then to deal with that however they see fit. So in other words, that particular stick isn't particularly strong stick. A much more effective approach is to actually prevent it rather than try to minimize it after it's occurred. And that may sound a lot harder to do than you think, but it really is the key to all of this, because ultimately if you keep dealing with the problem when it shows its head, it's like playing whack-a-mole, right? But the mole is still there. He's just disappeared under another hole. And so we've got those costs too that are just beyond the classroom. As individually, individuals with poor social skills are going to have limited personal success if they can't get along with others, because we generally are social animals and tend to put a lot of stock in how well our relationships and the types of relationships are with other people. So then why do I believe that we need to teach social skills in school? We truly need to integrate social skills education directly into the classroom environment. It isn't a matter of education or academics or social skills. It truly has to be both. And if you look at the research that comes out over and over again, particularly in early childhood, social emotional learning is more important than academic learning. So really, what am I talking about? I'm talking about transforming the culture. And what do I mean about that? A pro-social skills environment, not anti-bullying, but pro-social skills, is really what you need, because you need to really change the way that the school does business. Here's further information. A lot of you are already aware of how to find me, Corinne Gregory, socialsmarts.com. Again, if you're interested in the consulting option that we gave you, I'll backspace here, cyberbullying-solutions.com, consulting special offer. Feel free to help yourself to that, and we'll be very happy to accommodate those requests. Corinne G at socialsmarts.com, and we'll be looking forward to hosting you in another one of our webinars. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good day.